Jamaica. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching Centrally Speaking, the program that opens up the conversation around important matters of economics and finance, matters of national importance that have an impact on your life. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Anna. Good evening. Welcome. Sheena,
Yes.
big up some people.
Oh, I'd like to pick up everyone from Clarendon. We're ready.
That was quick.
Ready.
That was quick.
Specifically Denby in
Oh,
Clarendon.
good. So let me big up the place of Valley and talk about St. Mary. Big up yourself. You know yourselves. Which other parish? St. Elizabeth. Thanks to the Melanie.
You know, we want to also say to the kids who are getting ready to go back to school, you know, I hope everything is in place, and if not, you still have a little bit of time to ensure that you do that. Yes, so today's episode we'll be talking a little bit about protecting your money. Anna?
Yeah, Antoinette McKain, CEO of the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, will be joining us to talk about the very important topic of deposit insurance.
But before she joins us, let's hear from the people in the streets.
Do you know how much of your money in the bank is insured?
For tell you the truth, all the reason why I have a bank account is because I get paid through it. And why I saw the system run.
If I was to guess, I would say all of it.
All of it. My money.
Roughly 10% from the top of my head. That's what I think.
That I'm not sure about. If I take a guess, if the bank fail, little to none, because how the bank keep money or how the bank, because when they put the money in the bank, they lend it out to more people. So the bank necessarily always have money. So if the bank fail, then they're not gonna have no money basically. So I guess 0.
Maybe 80%, if not the full 100. Well, that's a good question. I don't know though.
I'd say roughly 30%, up to $1 million. 1.2.
1.5? Close. 1.2?
And it's always great to hear from more people in the streets.
We are coming to you from Bank of Jamaica, the fabulous Bank of Jamaica. It's like a museum here. You know, lovely artwork. We have with us today the CEO of the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, Antoinette McKain. Welcome to Centrally Speaking.
Thank you very much.
Or welcome again.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to see you. And we're going to hit it right off the bat. What is deposit insurance?
Deposit insurance is basically it's a governmental system where as part of a country's framework to aid in preserving financial stability, it offers deposit insurance to the depositors of commercial banks, merchant banks, and building societies. So that's effectively what it is. And it offers that insurance if the bank fails.
Okay.
All right. So that means, is it automatic then that every person who has an account benefits from insurance?
Yes, it's automatic for depositors. And you know that depositors hold their deposits in different capacities. A depositor can hold their deposit as an individual account, that is your name alone on the account, you know, just so people understand. Or they can hold it jointly, an account jointly with another person, or companies hold accounts, small businesses hold accounts, and there are also trust accounts. So JDIC covers each of those categories of accounts.
Okay. All right, so whose insurance is it? Is it the customer's insurance or is it the bank's insurance?
It's the customer's insurance. It's the depositor's insurance. It's not the bank's insurance. The depositor is entitled to that if the bank fails.
Okay.
All right. So who pays the premium for this insurance?
The banks themselves pay the premium for this insurance. So they pay it annually to the JDIC, and that premium is put into a fund. The fund is invested, grows over time. We have had no bank failures since the mid-1990s. And so that fund actually is now at $34.8 billion at March 31st this year.
Okay. Okay, so what exactly is insured? The principal amount, what is insured?
the entire balance that is on the depositor's account at the time of the failure.
All right, so I want to delve a little deeper, Antoinette, into that response that you just gave. So I have 5 million in my bank account, and Anna has 2 million in her bank account. What exactly is covered?
Well, first, let me just say your bank account is covered.
Right.
However, if the bank fails, you would be entitled to $1.2 million because you have 5. And so would Anna be entitled to $1.2 million.
Okay, but if we have 200,000, we're not going to get the 1.2 million.
No, if you have 200,000 in the bank, you get 200,000. But then you'd have got all your money back at 200,000, right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So if I have a savings account at a particular bank, and I have a checking account at a particular bank, and each account has more than 1.2 million, will I be getting back all of my money from, well, will I be getting back up to 1.2 from each?
The account is held in your name only.
Yes.
So what we would do is we would merge those 2 accounts, and you would get up to $1.2 million because it's your account. Even though you have 2 different types, a checking and a savings, it's still only your account.
Still under my name.
Yeah, it's still an individual account. So we merge those, and if you have more than $1.2 million, you get $1.2 million. If when you merge them, you have less than $1.2 million, you get fully what is merged.
Okay. Antoinette, we have a lot more questions for you, but we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come right back. So viewers, more on how you can protect your money with the help of JDIC after these messages.
Introducing the new $2,000 note. The new $2,000 note was created to help bridge the gap between the $1,000 and $5,000 notes. With the introduction of the $2,000 note alongside the $1,000 and $5,000 notes, fewer notes will be required to settle transactions. For example, instead of using 4 $1,000 notes to settle a transaction of $4,000, an individual could use just 2 notes, a combination of 2 of the new $2,000 notes. This substitution effect will lead to less reliance on the heavily demanded $1,000 bill, as well as generate cost savings for the bank over time.
Welcome back to Centrally Speaking. Our guest today is Antoinette McKain, CEO of the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation. You know the jingle, right?
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
There you go, Sheena.
No, not true.
But exactly which risks are covered under deposit insurance? Antoinette McKain continues the conversation with us. Before we went to the break, you were explaining that it is, if you have a savings account and a checking account and both of them have over 1.2 million, you only get 1.2 million.
That's correct.
Because it's per depositor. All right, suppose I have a Jamaican dollar account and a US dollar account. Is it the same 1.2 million or is 2 different $1.2 million may I get?
Okay, so recall it is the depositor who is covered.
Right.
So if you have, just as you explained, a US dollar and a Jamaica dollar account, what we do is we convert the US dollar account into Jamaican dollars at a weighted average selling rate for that currency on the day the bank failed.
Right.
And we combine that converted amount, which is now in Jamaican dollars, with the other account you have, the amount in that.
Right.
And if it amounts to more than $1.2 million in Jamaican currency, we would pay you $1.2 million because that's the maximum we pay on each depositor's account.
Okay.
Say, for example, Carrie-Ann from Walkerswood she's starting a bar and she opens an account with her husband. And, she uses, it's a saving account. And then she also opens another account with her mother. So it's joint. But then she has her own account. So we spoke about Carrie-Ann and her own account just earlier. Is it that Carrie-Ann's account with her mother is insured.
Yes, it is.
Is separate? Is that separate from?
Separate insurance
Yeah.
from Carrie Ann's account where she only holds it in her own name.
Right.
It's a separate insured. So both accounts would be entitled to have deposit insurance up to $1.2 million if her bank failed.
So the one with the husband as well as the one with the mother.
Yes.
So that means if, for example, she has $5 million in each, she will get up to 1.2 per account.
For each.
For each account.
So the one she holds in her name alone,
yes,
she could get up to $1.2 million
right.
in that account if she has more than $1.2 million.
Right.
So whatever she has below 1.2, she would be completely covered with that. The account she holds with her husband would also be entitled up to $1.2 million as well. And the one she holds with her mother would also be entitled to get $1.2 million as well, up to that, depending on how much you have in the account at the time of the bank failure. But can I just say something?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking.
You're thinking what I'm thinking?
Let's even probably go a little further. Carrie Ann, you said, has opened a business.
Yes, she
a bar.
has. Yes.
And Carrie Ann could even maximize her opportunities by actually opening a business account for the bar.
Right.
Separate from an account in her name only. She opens an account, a business account. You know, that would have to be registered at the company's office, by the way.
Yes.
And if she did that and put the funds from the bar in that account, the business account, that business account would also be covered for up to $1.2 million. So Carrie Ann needs to know that.
So on the note of the 1.2, because we're getting very familiar with the 1.2 now,
yes.
How does that compare globally though? Is this, how did you arrive at 1.2 and how does that compare to global standards?
When JDIC started in 1998, the coverage limit was actually $200,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it moved a few years later to $300,000. In 2007, it moved to $600,000. And then in 2020, we moved it to $1.2 million. Now, that movement was a consequence of the economy, how inflation might have eroded monies over time, and also a little bit of exchange rate also depreciation over time would have caused us to increase the coverage limit to try to restore the value of the money, and value in the context of its purchasing power. What you could buy with $200,000, you couldn't buy that now, you know. So we look at what's happening with the value of depositors' monies, and we try to ensure that the vast majority of depositors in our banking system are covered up to a satisfactory limit. Now you're going to ask, so what is a satisfactory limit? Well, let me tell you how we determine that. One of the factors, or a very key factor, is the fact of the matter is that at a coverage limit of $1.2 million, 98% of the deposit accounts in Jamaica are fully covered. 98% of all the deposits are fully covered at $1.2 million. Now, so how do we still know if that is satisfactory? The international standard is covering 90 to 95% of depositors in a banking system. So we have actually exceeded that international limit. So that's one of the ways we measure if the $1.2 million is satisfactory.
So it's unlikely that the bank won't fail at this time.
No,
right, but assuming the rare occurrence or the unlikely occurrence that a bank does fail, what is the process of recovery? How do I get these monies?
First of all, the depositor does not have to claim on the bank. The depositor does not have to claim deposit insurance, because what we at JDIC do is we'll have access to the records of the bank, the information in the bank, which has each depositor's balance that the depositor has. And we will compute within our IT systems, we will compute what amount of deposit insurance each depositor should get. Based on those rules we discussed about, if you have an individual account, you're up to 1.2. joint account up to 1.2, business account up to 1.2. So based on those rules, we would calculate how much each depositor would be entitled to. Okay. So we would have done that, and there are a number of methods that we could use for the depositor to get their funds, because that's the point, for them to be able to get it. And so one way that is used internationally, and probably is a very seamless way, is that we would put those funds that are due to depositors in another bank that is good.
Okay.
And we would say to depositors, you can go to this other bank and you would be able to get your deposit insurance monies.
Whether or not you have an account there?
Whether or not you have an account, we would have an agreement with that bank.
Okay.
That depositors would come there from the bank that failed, who were with the bank that failed, would come to your bank and collect their monies. And we would ensure that that bank has that money to pay you. And I mean, that is how it's done, I mean, the world over.
So we found out that the 1.2 is the magic number, right? But remember I said Kerry-Ann had an account of up to $5 million. So what happens to the rest of that money, you know, outside of the 1.2?
When we speak about fail here,
Yes.
we're actually speaking about a bank that ends up in a liquidation.
Okay.
Okay? Because our system is designed in such a way that if a bank is going to fail, there are other options the central bank would take to ensure, to preserve the business of that bank. And so then no depositor, no money of depositors would be at risk. But in the event that no action like that preserves the business of the bank is available or is there, and the bank has to go into liquidation, that's when we actually pay depositors up to $1.2 million. But depositors always want to know, so what happens to that money over that I might have had in the bank that is more than $1.2 million? And that would have to be recovered in the liquidation of the bank. So liquidation is merely where the liquidator takes all the assets that the bank would have, what you call realize, meaning turn those assets into cash. And then there are rules about how people are paid back out of that cash. People who are owed money by the bank are paid out of that cash. So then depositors are also in that line of persons who would get back the balances of their monies at the end of the liquidation. So it might not be all, because you have to share now in a liquidation, you have to share the assets among all the persons claiming, but depositors may be able to get back some of those funds over $1.2 million at the end of the liquidation process.
Clearly, you've mastered the art of deposit insurance, or insuring deposits in commercial banks.
Yes.
Because I think you're almost doing this for about 25 years now. A little birdie told me that somebody's anniversary, 25th anniversary, is coming up. Is it so?
It is so. So it's not my 25th birthday.
Oh,
but it surely, but it surely is the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the JDIC. So JDIC was established on the 31st of August, 1998.
Yes.
That makes us 25 years old. And we are going to have a number of activities to mark this anniversary of JDIC.
You want to tell me a little bit more about these activities? It sounds exciting.
Yes. Okay, can I do it like how the young people do it now?
Sure.
So can I get my cell phone?
Right.
Sure, get your cell phone.
Okay, thank you. So I can just tell you what the activities are.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to have a church service, a Thanksgiving service.
Right.
At the Boulevard Baptist Church on the 27th of August this year. And we are doing a publication in our newspapers, 25th anniversary supplement in both newspapers.
Right.
Again, you will see that on August 27th.
Yes.
And so we'll give you a bit of history of JDIC, but also a bit of looking forward. Because everything is about looking forward. How do we see the financial system developing looking forward? How do we see depositor protections looking forward? And financial system consumer protections looking forward? Because that's what people want to know. To know what's coming down the line. How are they protected down the line?
Okay.
We're also in September, early October, we are doing a promotion on financial literacy in schools.
Okay.
So, financial literacy is very dear to JDIC
Yes.
and in its public education program. I know it's also very dear to the Bank of Jamaica
Yes, it is.
because they are responsible for financial inclusion program as well, for a national one. So we're very aligned there. So we're launching a JDIC financial education book. Now, can you imagine? We created a book.
Oh, that's nice.
On financial education.
Like a textbook?
But yes, it's like a textbook, but for persons between the ages of like 8 to fifth form.
Okay.
We're also going to hand over 585 JDIC branded mathematics books.
Okay.
But these are special in the sense that they are designed more now for the high school students. They're designed by Jamaicans, two Jamaicans who are very science oriented, and have noted that sort of, we tend to be, youngsters in high school tend to be a little not do as well in math. Yeah. So the whole objective of that book is a simplification of it. And also we're going to launch a high school essay competition, which is going to be on the role and function of the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Deposit Insurance Scheme in Jamaica. Now, don't worry about it. I mean, information is everywhere. We have a great website with a lot of information. And can I tell you, most deposit insurance agencies all over the world also have excellent websites. Okay. So students will have a lot of research material to enter that essay competition. And then the winner, their school, will allow the winner's school to tell us something that they have to enhance their school or their community, and we'll contribute to that.
Okay, cool.
So we think that's a really nice one. We have done essay competitions in the past, so that's not new for us. But we really want to do something really significant. So it's a bit a part of our public education and our corporate social responsibility as well. So we're merging that in this essay competition, the objectives in this essay competition. And then we will have an award ceremony for the essay competition. Okay? So that would be nice, and that will be publicized and published. We're also going to do a series of town hall meetings and public fora during November 2023 this year, right through to March 2024. Okay. Because we live in a world where people want information. Yes. And we believe that we must give them information, and we must give them information in a way that they can understand. And so our objective is really about that, getting to people and getting to places to provide that information one-on-one.
You've targeted a number of demographics.
That's right.
And it's, areas of education and treating with financial literacy, which is critical for us, especially as a country.
At
that age.
And starting at that young age. Children are like sponges. They probably learn faster than me.
Which is true. All of us. They probably learn faster than all of us.
Yes.
Ms. McKain, we could go on and on and on for days about deposit insurance. But unfortunately, we're out of time. But we want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us, to educate us on the role of JDIC.
And after that very informative interview with Antoinette McKain, more centrally speaking in just a minute.
Jamaica's currency has a fresh new look. Introducing the new $50 note. The new $100 note. The new $500 note. The new $1,000 note. The new $2,000 note. The new $5,000 note. Jamaica's new banknotes, modern, more secure, and made to last.
The CEO of the JDIC, Antoinette McKain, explained how the JDIC protects your money. So let's review the main points from the discussion. It's now time for Fast Facts. Number 1. The Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, JDIC, was established on August 31, 1998 by the government of Jamaica. The corporation will celebrate its 25th anniversary this year. Number 2. JDIC helps to promote stability and engenders confidence in Jamaica's financial system. It provides coverage for individual accounts, joint accounts, business accounts, and trust accounts. Number 3. Institutions which fall within the banking system are 1. Commercial banks, 2. Merchant banks, and 3. Building societies. Number 4. The increase in the deposit insurance coverage from 600,000 to 1.2 million was influenced by the impact of inflation and the corporation's attempt to restore the value of depositors' money. Approximately 98% of deposit accounts are fully covered by JDIC. Number 5. JDIC is an independent statutory agency. It is funded by premium income from commercial banks, merchant banks, and building societies, and investment income. Its deposit insurance fund now has a total of $34.8 billion. And the bonus fact, number 6. In the event of a bank's failure, depositors will get up to $1.2 million. The recovery process does not require depositors to make a claim, as JDIC will automatically compute based on a set of guidelines, depositors' eligibility amounts, and a range for disbursement of funds for depositors. And that's it for Fast Facts.
We've come to the end of another informative episode of Centrally Speaking. We learned so much from our guest, CEO of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, Antoinette McKain.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Central Bank JA and at Central Bank Jamaica on Instagram. You can also visit our website at www.boj.org.jm.
We invite you to send your questions on Twitter or Facebook.
And of course, watch Centrally Speaking next week at the same time right here on your station, where we will have another special guest. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Anna.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
Centrally Speaking is a production of Bank of Jamaica.